morning, and folks are looking at me, came up and talked to me and said, boy, you look a little tired, Ryan. I said, well, to be honest with you, I am. We had to get hotel rooms all week, and it's so tough sleeping when you got a snore in the band. It's our bass man. I knew the boys were going to have trouble with it, and sure enough, first one up, David, he comes up, he said, I'm not staying with Richard. He snores more than I ever heard in my life. There's no way I'm staying with him. I said, well, somebody's going to have to stay with him. Well, Tim, good boy he is in the banjo, he come up, he said, Ryan, I'll take him, Richard, tonight. I got the earbuds in, snoring don't bother me, I'll take him. Next morning, Tim, he comes stumbling out, he could hardly make it. Richard comes jumping out there with a big smile on his face. I said, Tim, what in the world happened? He said, man, them earbuds did nothing, he said. I stayed awake watching him all night long. Sure enough, Mathew, being the new one, I knew he'd step up. He said, I'll take Richard the next night. He said, I got the earbuds that don't go to volume 10. They go the whole way to 15. Snoring ain't going to bother me. Next morning, Mathew, he comes stumbling out. He could hardly make it. Here comes Richard trotting out with a big smile on his face again. I said, Mathew, what in the world? He said, man, I've never in my life heard snoring like that. He said, I stayed awake watching him all night long. I said, boys, give him to me. Got to have it up here. Next morning, Richard, he comes stumbling out. He could hardly make it. I come jogging out with a big smile on my face. The boys looked at me. They said, Ryan, they said, what in the world? How'd you do it? I said, boys, once again, you have to have it up here. Before we went over to bed, I reached over, kissed him on top of the head and said, good night, sweetheart. He stayed awake watching me all night long. Got to have it up here, boys. Are these boys picking good for you? I know you I'm going to ask you, we need some participation again. We're not going to let you just sit there, unfortunately, but we're going to need you on this one. They like to know who the favorite is, and playing Gettysburg is one of our favorite festivals, the premier festivals in all the country. So they want to see who the favorite is. They're going to come front and center. They're going to pour it out for you, folks. All I need from you is noise, who you think is doing the best job, all right? You folks under the tent, too, I got to be able to hear you. I want to know who it is today. Let's find ourselves a winner here, boys. You boys ready? They're ready for you. It goes like this. Last night about 10:30, baby of mine wouldn't let me in, so move it on over, I'll scoot it on over, move over short dog, cause the tall dog's moving in. Start her off there, Matthew, come on, boy. Side is mine, ease it on over, I'll scoot it on over, move on, skinny dog, cause the fat dog's moving in. David, show what you got, boy, come on, hop one. Hey, love you, boy. Take your gloves off for me, Matthew, come on, boy. love to make my head feel a little big, all right? Move on, cold dog. How you doing, David? Pretty good there. Cause the hot dogs moving in. Yeah, that's great. How about it for David on the mandolin? So far, you got it, brother. How about it for Tim on the banjo? Mathew on the fiddle. How about it for rockin' Richard Egolf on the upright bass? I knew it was going to happen, especially when he has the moves like he does, boys. You got to learn how to do that. So ladies should just, man, they're right there watching Richard them moves. I don't know if I want to see that again, Richard, but that's all right. He's a good boy. He called me up a little bit ago. He needed some work down there, and he asked me if I knew anybody. I said, well, I sure do. Called my buddy down in Philadelphia. He said, can he do construction? I said, well, by looking at the old boy, he can do construction. So he hired him on the spot, gave him a work truck, said go out there and do some construction work. He's out in the work truck eating lunch one day and saw a pig truck pull up in front of the work truck. He loves little piglets. He saw them little piglets. He's looking at them eating his sandwich. Pig truck pulls out. One of them falls off on the ground. Richard said, oh, no. He went out, got that little piglet, put him in his work truck, and they were eating lunch together. Officer came up. He was on duty, knocked on the window. He said, buddy, where'd you get that pig? Richard looked at him and said, well, he said, there was a pig truck here. It fell off. I went and got him, and we're eating lunch together. Officer said, buddy, I suggest you take that pig to the Philadelphia Zoo. Richard said, I'll do that. Next day, he's out in his work truck eating that, had that little piglet beside him, same officer on duty. He came up, he said, buddy, I thought I told you to take that pig to the Philadelphia Zoo. Richard looked up at him and said, I did yesterday. Today we're going to the movies. He loved that pig. And you love his bass playing. One more time for Richard back here on the bass.